Aisha had always dreamed of working in the tech industry. After months of job hunting, she finally landed a position at a well-known tech company. As she walked into the bright, modern office on her first day, excitement bubbled inside her. She felt a mix of nerves and enthusiasm, eager to show her new team what she was capable of. The office was buzzing with energy, and everyone seemed friendly. Aisha was assigned to a small team, and during the first few days, she was determined to make a good impression. Her colleagues were supportive, and she quickly felt at home among them. However, there was one person who made her uneasy: her manager. During a team meeting, Aisha noticed how Mr. Thompson, her manager, would often overlook her contributions. He would ask for ideas, but when she spoke up, he'd interrupt her or change the subject, almost as if he didn't hear her at all. At first, Aisha thought it might just be a misunderstanding. Maybe he was simply busy or distracted. But as the days went by, it became clear that something wasn't quite right. Then came the day of the fateful meeting. Aisha was excited to present her ideas for a new project. She had worked hard on her presentation and felt proud of her work. However, as she spoke, Mr. Thompson made a joke that shocked everyone in the room. He targeted her hairstyle, making a comment that was not just rude but also laced with stereotypes. Aisha's heart sank. She could feel the heat rising to her cheeks as she fought back tears. For a moment, the room was silent. Aisha glanced around at her colleagues, hoping for support, but everyone seemed frozen in shock. She took a deep breath and tried to shake it off, but the humiliation lingered. After the meeting, Aisha couldn't believe what had just happened. She felt angry and hurt, questioning how someone in a position of power could say such a thing. Later that day, Aisha found herself sitting in a quiet corner of the office, replaying the incident in her mind. She knew she had to confront Mr. Thompson about his comments. It was essential for her to speak up, not just for herself, but for anyone else who might have been affected by his behavior. So she gathered her courage and decided to talk to him privately. When Aisha approached Mr. Thompson, she felt a mix of anxiety and determination. She calmly explained how his words had made her feel and expressed that his comment was inappropriate. Instead of showing remorse, he waved her off, saying she was being too sensitive. His response left Aisha feeling even more isolated and frustrated. It was clear to her that he didn't understand the impact of his words or care to. After their conversation, Aisha confided in a close friend at work who worked in HR. This friend listened carefully and encouraged her to document everything that had happened. Aisha hesitated, unsure if filing a complaint would lead to any positive change. She worried about the possible backlash and whether it would put her job at risk. But as she thought about the situation more, Aisha realized that staying silent would only let Mr. Thompson's behavior continue. She decided she couldn't let fear dictate her actions. Aisha started writing down every incident, detailing the comments and behaviors that had made her uncomfortable. It felt empowering to take control of her narrative. With her documentation in hand, Aisha finally decided to file a formal complaint with HR. It was a big step, but she felt it was necessary to address the discrimination she faced. The following week, she was called into a meeting with HR to discuss her complaint. Sitting in that room, Aisha felt a wave of nervousness wash over her, but she was determined to stand her ground. The HR representatives listened attentively as Aisha shared her experiences. They assured her that they took her claims seriously and would conduct a thorough investigation. Aisha left the meeting feeling a mix of relief and apprehension. She had taken a stand, but now she faced an uncertain path ahead. As she returned to her desk, Aisha felt hopeful. It was a difficult moment, but she knew she was doing the right thing. She thought about how her actions could inspire others in the company to speak out against unfair treatment. Little did she know that this was only the beginning of a much larger journey, one that would challenge her and ultimately lead her to discover her own strength. Aisha's courage to file a complaint had set off a chain of events that she hadn't anticipated. For the first few days after she spoke with HR, everything felt tense. She noticed that some of her colleagues were acting differently around her. While some offered her support, others seemed to keep their distance, clearly worried about getting involved. Aisha understood that they were likely feeling the pressure of the situation, but it still made her feel more isolated. In the days that followed, Aisha focused on her work, trying to keep her mind off what had happened. She poured her energy into her projects, determined to prove her worth. Yet, every time Mr. Thompson walked by her desk, she felt her stomach tighten. She could sense his eyes on her, a reminder of the confrontation that had changed everything. She worried that he would retaliate in some way, even if it was subtle. One afternoon, Aisha was working late, determined to finish up a project that had a looming deadline. The office was quieter than usual, with most of her colleagues having left for the day. Just then, Maria, her friend from HR, knocked on her open door and stepped inside. "Hey, I just wanted to check in on you," Maria said, her expression warm and concerned. "How are you holding up?" Aisha appreciated the support. "I'm okay, I guess. Just trying to keep my head down and finish my work." Maria sat down and leaned in closer. "I've been hearing some things from HR about the investigation. They're taking your complaint seriously. I know it's tough right now, but you're doing the right thing." Aisha nodded, feeling a mix of gratitude and anxiety. "Thank you for believing me. I just hope this doesn't backfire." Maria reached out and placed a reassuring hand on Aisha's arm. "You're strong, and you're not alone in this. Remember, standing up for yourself is important, not just for you, but for everyone else who might feel afraid to speak out." That conversation stuck with Aisha. It reminded her that her struggle was part of a bigger picture. She wasn't just fighting for her own dignity, but for others who might face similar challenges. As days turned into weeks, the investigation progressed. HR conducted interviews with several of her colleagues. Some were supportive and shared their own experiences, while others seemed hesitant, worried about how it might affect their own positions. Finally, one day, Aisha received an email from HR requesting a meeting. Her heart raced as she opened it. The email stated they would discuss the findings of their investigation. Aisha felt nervous, but also a bit relieved. She was ready to know what would happen next. On the day of the meeting, Aisha walked into the conference room, her heart pounding in her chest. The HR representatives were already seated and looked serious yet supportive. As she took her seat, she could feel the tension in the air. "Thank you for coming in today," one of the HR members began. "We appreciate your patience during this process. We've completed our investigation and wanted to share the results with you." Aisha listened closely as they explained what they had found. They confirmed that Mr. Thompson's behavior had crossed the line and was not in line with the company's values. However, they also stated that due to his position as a senior manager, the consequences would not be as severe as Aisha had hoped. He would receive a formal reprimand and be required to undergo diversity training. Aisha felt a mix of emotions. While she was glad that her complaint was taken seriously, she also felt disappointed that Mr. Thompson would not face more severe consequences. "What about the culture in the office?" she asked, her voice steady. "How can we ensure that this doesn't happen again?" The HR representatives acknowledged her concerns and shared that they were planning to implement new training sessions on diversity and inclusion for all employees, not just for Mr. Thompson. They encouraged Aisha to be part of these discussions to help create a more inclusive workplace. Aisha left the meeting feeling a renewed sense of purpose. It was clear that while the path ahead would still have challenges, she had the opportunity to make a difference. Over the next few weeks, she actively participated in the training sessions, sharing her experiences and encouraging her colleagues to speak up about their own. As more people joined the conversation, Aisha realized that her voice mattered. Each session became an opportunity for learning and growth, not just for herself, but for everyone involved. Aisha began to see changes within the office culture as her colleagues started to open up about their experiences and the importance of respect and inclusion. As Aisha continued her journey of advocacy and change within the company, she found herself growing more confident. The training sessions had opened her eyes to the experiences of others, and she felt a deep sense of responsibility to help foster a workplace where everyone felt safe and respected. Aisha was becoming not just an employee, but a voice for those who had been marginalized or silenced. One afternoon, as Aisha was preparing for another training session, she received an email inviting her to speak at an upcoming company-wide meeting. The email explained that the leadership team wanted her to share her experiences and insights on the importance of diversity and inclusion. A wave of excitement and nervousness washed over her. This was a chance to reach a larger audience, but it also meant putting herself in the spotlight. After some thought, Aisha accepted the invitation. She began to prepare her speech, wanting to ensure she conveyed her message clearly. She wanted her colleagues to understand that her fight wasn't just about one incident. It was about creating a culture where everyone could thrive. The night before the meeting, Aisha rehearsed her speech in front of the mirror, reminding herself to stay calm and focused. The day of the meeting arrived, and the atmosphere in the conference room buzzed with anticipation. Employees from various departments filled the seats, and Aisha could see familiar faces, some supportive and others still unsure. When it was her turn to speak, she took a deep breath and walked to the front of the room. "Thank you all for being here," she began, her voice steady. "Today, I want to talk about something that affects all of us: how we treat each other in the workplace. I know many of you may not be aware of the challenges that some of us face, but it's essential that we start having these conversations." Aisha shared her story, describing the incident with her manager and the emotional toll it had taken on her. As she spoke, she could see some faces in the audience shift from discomfort to understanding. She highlighted the importance of speaking up and not allowing fear to silence one's voice. The room felt charged with energy as Aisha's words resonated with her colleagues. "I believe that everyone deserves to feel respected and valued at work," she continued. "When we support each other and speak out against discrimination, we create a stronger, more united team. It's our responsibility to stand up for one another and ensure that our workplace is a safe space for everyone." After her speech, the room erupted in applause. Aisha felt a wave of relief and pride wash over her. She had shared her truth, and it seemed to have struck a chord. Following the meeting, many employees approached her to express their gratitude and share their own experiences. Some told her they had faced similar situations and felt inspired by her bravery to come forward. In the weeks that followed, Aisha noticed a shift in the workplace atmosphere. Colleagues began to engage more openly in discussions about diversity and inclusion. People felt encouraged to voice their concerns, and it seemed that a new sense of community was forming. Aisha felt a sense of accomplishment, knowing that her actions had contributed to this positive change. However, she also recognized that this was just the beginning. While progress had been made, there was still work to be done. Aisha teamed up with the HR department to help develop a mentorship program aimed at supporting underrepresented employees within the company. She believed that mentorship could provide guidance, encouragement, and opportunities for those who might otherwise struggle to navigate the workplace. As Aisha got involved in this initiative, she met many bright and talented individuals who were eager to learn and grow. She enjoyed sharing her knowledge and experiences with them, guiding them through the challenges she had faced. Each mentorship meeting became a chance for Aisha to inspire others while also learning from their unique perspectives. As the months went by, Aisha realized how much she had grown. She had gone from being a quiet employee feeling uncertain about her place in the company to becoming a leader advocating for change. Her journey had taught her the importance of resilience and the power of community. One day, while walking through the office, Aisha noticed a group of colleagues gathered around a table discussing an upcoming event focused on diversity. She paused to listen, her heart swelling with pride. They were sharing ideas on how to make the event impactful and inclusive, and she felt a deep sense of satisfaction knowing that her efforts had sparked such a meaningful conversation. As Aisha continued her work to promote diversity and inclusion in her workplace, she found herself more engaged than ever. The mentorship program she helped establish was gaining momentum. Employees were eager to participate, and she was thrilled to see the connections being made. She believed that each mentorship relationship could make a real difference in someone's career, and she was determined to help as many people as possible. One afternoon, Aisha received an email inviting her to a panel discussion about workplace diversity at a regional conference. The invitation came from a well-known organization that focused on promoting inclusive practices in the business world. The panel would include industry leaders and activists, and Aisha was asked to represent her company. At first, she felt overwhelmed by the idea of speaking in front of a large audience again, but she quickly realized this was another chance to share her message. Excited yet anxious, Aisha started preparing for the event. She wanted to make sure her points were clear and impactful. She spent hours writing down her thoughts and experiences, aiming to highlight not just her own journey, but also the importance of community and support in creating real change. Aisha practiced her speech repeatedly, wanting to be confident and authentic. When the day of the conference arrived, Aisha put on her best outfit, feeling a mix of nerves and excitement as she made her way to the venue. The atmosphere was buzzing with energy as people gathered, exchanging ideas and experiences. Aisha felt a sense of belonging as she walked through the crowd, recognizing that she was part of something bigger than herself. Once it was time for the panel discussion, Aisha took her place alongside other speakers, some of whom were well-known figures in the industry. She felt a flutter of nerves, but as the discussion began, she found her footing. Each panelist shared their experiences and insights, discussing the importance of diversity in the workplace. When it was her turn to speak, Aisha felt the support of her fellow panelists and the audience. "I'm honored to be here," she began, her voice steady. "I want to share how important it is for us to create environments where everyone feels safe and valued. I believe that when we encourage diversity, we foster innovation and growth. My own journey has taught me that change is possible when we stand together." As she spoke, Aisha could see heads nodding in agreement throughout the audience. Her heart swelled with pride as she shared her story, explaining the challenges she faced and the steps she took to advocate for herself and others. She emphasized the role of mentorship in helping individuals navigate their careers, encouraging others to seek support and offer it to those in need. The discussion sparked a lively conversation among the audience members, who shared their own experiences and asked questions. Aisha felt invigorated as people engaged with the topic. It was clear that her words resonated, and the importance of the conversation deepened in that moment. After the panel, many attendees approached Aisha to express their appreciation. Some were moved by her story, while others were eager to learn how they could implement similar changes in their own workplaces. Aisha felt a sense of connection with these individuals, realizing that her journey was inspiring others to take action. In the weeks following the conference, Aisha continued to work on the mentorship program, collaborating with HR to make it even more effective. They organized workshops where mentors and mentees could come together to learn from each other, share experiences, and develop new skills. Aisha felt a sense of fulfillment as she watched participants grow and gain confidence. As the program flourished, Aisha also began to notice a change in the overall company culture. More employees were engaging in discussions about diversity and inclusion, and many were taking the initiative to propose their own ideas for improvement. Aisha was thrilled to see her colleagues becoming more involved and passionate about making the workplace a better environment for everyone. One day, during a casual lunch with some colleagues, a conversation about the mentorship program turned into an exciting brainstorming session. Aisha and her coworkers shared ideas about creating more networking opportunities and ways to connect with people outside their organization. The energy in the room was contagious, and Aisha felt inspired by her colleagues' enthusiasm. "Why don't we organize a networking event?" one colleague suggested. "We could invite professionals from different backgrounds to share their experiences and insights. It would be a great way to expand our community." As Aisha continued to nurture the mentorship program and the networking event, she felt a sense of pride in what they had built together. The energy in the office had shifted, and people were more willing to discuss ideas and support one another. Aisha saw firsthand how small actions could lead to significant changes in workplace culture. Every conversation and every connection made a difference. One afternoon, as Aisha was wrapping up a meeting of upcoming mentorship workshops, her phone buzzed with a notification. It was an email from the company's leadership team, inviting her to a special event where they would honor employees who had made a positive impact on the company culture. Aisha's heart raced with excitement. She had never imagined receiving such recognition. The email mentioned that Aisha would be one of the speakers at the event. She felt a mix of pride and nervousness. Speaking in front of a large audience was always a little intimidating, but she understood the importance of sharing her journey and inspiring others. Aisha quickly began to prepare her speech, wanting to convey her message clearly and authentically. As the day of the event approached, Aisha spent her evenings rehearsing in front of the mirror, refining her words and focusing on the core message she wanted to deliver. She wanted to emphasize the power of community and the importance of supporting one another in the workplace. On the day of the event, she wore her favorite professional outfit, feeling both excited and nervous. When Aisha arrived at the venue, she was greeted by a warm atmosphere filled with colleagues, friends, and leaders from the company. The room was decorated beautifully, and everyone seemed eager to celebrate the positive changes within the organization. Aisha felt a surge of gratitude as she looked around at the familiar faces, many of whom had supported her throughout her journey. Once the event began, the host welcomed everyone and shared stories of the changes happening within the company. Then, it was time for Aisha to take the stage. As she walked up, she took a deep breath and reminded herself to stay calm. When she reached the microphone, the applause from her colleagues filled her with warmth. "Thank you all for being here," she started, smiling at the audience. "I am truly honored to stand here today and share my journey with you. A little over a year ago, I felt lost and unsure of my place in this company. But through the support of my colleagues and our shared commitment to inclusivity, I've discovered the power of community." Aisha spoke passionately about her experiences, highlighting the importance of standing up for one another and creating a culture where everyone felt safe and valued. She shared stories of her struggles and the steps she took to advocate for change, emphasizing that every individual has the power to make a difference. The audience listened intently, and Aisha could see nods of agreement and encouragement from her colleagues. She encouraged everyone to take action, no matter how small, to support their peers. "When we stand together, we can create a workplace where everyone feels like they belong," she said, her voice steady and strong. After her speech, the audience erupted in applause once more. Aisha felt a rush of emotion as she looked out at the smiling faces. She had shared her truth, and it seemed to resonate with so many. Following the speeches, the event turned into a celebration of the positive changes happening within the company. Colleagues mingled, exchanging ideas and stories, and the atmosphere was filled with hope and excitement. As the evening came to a close, Aisha was approached by several colleagues who wanted to express their appreciation for her words. Many shared their own experiences, recounting how Aisha's journey had inspired them to be more proactive in supporting diversity and inclusion in the workplace. Aisha felt grateful for their support and for the connections they had built. The event was not just a moment of recognition for Aisha, it was a reflection of the collective effort of everyone in the company. She realized that each person had played a part in creating a more inclusive environment. It was not just her story, but a shared narrative of resilience, courage, and growth. In the following weeks, Aisha noticed that the momentum from the event continued. Employees were increasingly engaging in discussions about diversity and inclusion. More people were volunteering to lead workshops, share their stories, and get involved in initiatives that promoted a positive workplace culture. As time went on, Aisha's dedication to promoting diversity and inclusion within her workplace only grew stronger. She realized that every small effort contributed to a larger change, and she felt empowered by the support of her colleagues. Aisha wanted to ensure that everyone had a voice and that no one felt left behind in their professional journey. One morning, while reviewing feedback from the mentorship program, Aisha noticed a recurring theme. Many participants expressed a desire for more resources to help them develop their skills. They wanted workshops that focused not only on professional skills, but also on personal development and building confidence. This sparked an idea in Aisha's mind. She thought about how she could expand the program to better meet these needs. With a clear vision, Aisha began brainstorming ideas for workshops that would focus on a range of topics. She wanted to cover areas like public speaking, networking, and even personal finance. Aisha knew that these skills were essential for success in the workplace and that many employees could benefit from them. She felt a sense of excitement as she considered the possibilities. Aisha started reaching out to various experts in these fields, asking if they would be willing to lead workshops for her colleagues. To her delight, many professionals were eager to help. They believed in the importance of empowering individuals to grow and succeed. Aisha organized a schedule of workshops and promoted them through company emails and flyers. She wanted to ensure that everyone was aware of the opportunities available to them. The first workshop focused on public speaking. Aisha had always found this to be a challenging skill, so she knew how important it was to address. The day of the workshop arrived, and Aisha felt a mix of anticipation and nerves as she welcomed participants. The guest speaker was a well-known communications coach who had helped many people overcome their fear of speaking in front of others. As the workshop began, Aisha watched as her colleagues engaged with the speaker, asking questions and participating in activities designed to build their confidence. They practiced speaking in front of small groups, learning valuable techniques to help them communicate more effectively. Aisha felt inspired by the energy in the room and was thrilled to see her colleagues stepping out of their comfort zones. Over the next few months, Aisha continued to host various workshops, and attendance grew steadily. Employees from different departments began to join in, creating a sense of community and camaraderie. Aisha was delighted to see people connecting with each other, sharing their experiences, and learning together. Each workshop became a platform for collaboration and support, strengthening the bonds among colleagues. One day, after a particularly successful workshop on networking, Aisha received a heartfelt email from one of the participants. The employee shared how the workshop had boosted her confidence and encouraged her to reach out to someone she admired in the company. She thanked Aisha for providing opportunities to grow and learn. This feedback warmed Aisha's heart and reaffirmed her belief in the program's impact. Aisha knew that it was essential to keep the momentum going. She began planning a larger event that would bring together all the different elements of the mentorship program, workshops, and networking opportunities. She envisioned a day filled with guest speakers, interactive sessions, and chances for employees to showcase what they had learned. As the event date approached, Aisha worked tirelessly to ensure everything was in place. She coordinated with speakers, set up the venue, and promoted the event throughout the company. On the day of the event, Aisha arrived early, her excitement palpable. The venue was buzzing with activity as attendees began to arrive. The event kicked off with a keynote speaker, an inspiring leader known for her work in promoting diversity in the workplace. Aisha was thrilled to see so many colleagues eager to learn. The atmosphere was filled with enthusiasm and positivity as everyone settled in to hear the speaker's story. Aisha listened intently, feeling motivated by the powerful message about the importance of resilience and community. Throughout the day, participants rotated through different sessions, each designed to enhance their skills and broaden their perspectives. Aisha facilitated a session on personal development, where attendees reflected on their goals and the steps they could take to achieve them. The room was filled with laughter, deep conversations, and moments of reflection. Aisha loved seeing everyone actively engaged and sharing their aspirations. As Aisha continued her mission to promote diversity and inclusion in her workplace, she found herself reflecting on the changes that had taken place over the past months. The workshops had become a staple in the company culture, and she felt proud to see so many colleagues stepping forward to share their experiences and learn from one another. Aisha realized that her vision of creating a supportive environment was slowly becoming a reality. One afternoon, during a casual lunch with a few colleagues, a lively discussion arose about how to further improve the workplace. People shared their thoughts on what was working well and what still needed attention. Aisha listened carefully, taking notes and absorbing all the feedback. This conversation sparked an idea in her mind. She realized that it was important to not only listen to feedback, but also to act on it. With renewed energy, Aisha decided to organize a brainstorming session. She wanted to gather a diverse group of employees to discuss new initiatives that could enhance their workplace culture. Aisha believed that involving more voices in the decision-making process would lead to better ideas and solutions. She sent out an invitation to everyone in the company, encouraging them to join her in this open discussion. On the day of the brainstorming session, Aisha felt a wave of excitement as she prepared the room. She set up tables in a circle to create an inviting atmosphere. As colleagues began to arrive, she greeted each person with a warm smile, eager to hear their thoughts. The room quickly filled with chatter and laughter as people settled in, and Aisha could sense the energy in the air. Aisha started the session by explaining the purpose of the gathering. "I want us to share ideas and discuss how we can continue to build an inclusive workplace. Every voice matters, and together we can create something special." Her words resonated with everyone, and they were eager to contribute. The discussion flowed naturally as people shared their thoughts. Some suggested creating more networking opportunities, while others expressed a desire for additional workshops focused on specific skills. One employee mentioned the importance of celebrating different cultures within the workplace, suggesting a cultural appreciation day where everyone could share their traditions and backgrounds. Aisha loved this idea and noted it down enthusiastically. As the brainstorming continued, Aisha encouraged everyone to think creatively and share even the wildest ideas. She wanted them to feel safe and supported in expressing their thoughts. Aisha found that the more open she was to their suggestions, the more ideas flourished. They discussed the possibility of creating employee resource groups, where individuals with similar backgrounds or interests could come together for support and advocacy. As the session came to a close, Aisha was amazed at the wealth of ideas they had generated. She felt a sense of hope and determination as she looked around the room at her colleagues, who were buzzing with excitement. Aisha knew that they had tapped into something powerful, and it was time to take action. In the following weeks, Aisha worked tirelessly to implement the ideas discussed during the brainstorming session. She collaborated with different teams to organize a cultural appreciation day, where employees could share their traditions through food, music, and storytelling. Aisha was thrilled to see the enthusiasm grow as colleagues signed up to participate. It felt like a celebration of their diversity, bringing everyone together in a joyful way. The day of the event arrived, and Aisha could hardly contain her excitement. The office was transformed into a vibrant space filled with colorful decorations and delicious aromas from different cuisines. Employees set up booths showcasing their cultures, sharing stories and traditional dishes. Aisha wandered around, enjoying the food and listening to the fascinating stories behind each display. As she observed her colleagues connecting and celebrating their differences, Aisha felt a profound sense of joy. It was clear that the event was more than just a celebration. It was a step towards building a deeper understanding among everyone in the workplace. Conversations flowed freely as people learned about one another's backgrounds, and Aisha saw friendships forming in real time. The success of the Cultural Appreciation Day energized Aisha and her colleagues. They received positive feedback from participants, who expressed how much they enjoyed learning about each other and feeling a sense of belonging. Aisha knew they were on the right path and felt inspired to keep the momentum going. As Aisha continued to lead her initiatives, she felt a deep sense of purpose and connection with her colleagues. The sense of community in the workplace had grown immensely, and she loved seeing everyone engage more openly. People were excited to share their ideas and experiences, making the office a lively and supportive place. One day, as Aisha was preparing for a meeting with her team, she received an unexpected email. It was from a local news outlet interested in featuring their company for its commitment to diversity and inclusion. The reporter had heard about the positive changes happening at the organization and wanted to highlight the efforts of employees like Aisha. She felt a mix of excitement and nerves. This was a fantastic opportunity to share their story and inspire other workplaces. After thinking about it, Aisha decided to participate in the interview. She believed it was essential to shine a light on the collective efforts of her colleagues rather than just her own. Aisha reached out to a few team members who had played significant roles in their initiatives, inviting them to join her in the interview. She wanted the story to reflect the community spirit that had blossomed in their workplace. When the day of the interview arrived, Aisha felt a buzz of energy in the air. The reporter arrived, bringing along a photographer to capture the moment. Aisha introduced her colleagues and explained the purpose of their gathering. The atmosphere was filled with excitement and a bit of nervousness, but Aisha encouraged everyone to speak freely and share their experiences. The interview began with the reporter asking about the changes they had implemented. Aisha spoke passionately about the workshops and cultural appreciation events, emphasizing how they had helped create a more inclusive environment. Her colleagues shared their thoughts, highlighting how they felt empowered to take on leadership roles and contribute to the company's mission. As the conversation flowed, the reporter asked about the impact these changes had on their workplace culture. Aisha's colleagues spoke about the friendships that had formed, the increased collaboration, and the sense of belonging they felt. One employee shared how the support from their peers had helped them overcome challenges and grow professionally. Aisha listened proudly as her team articulated the progress they had made together. After the interview, Aisha felt exhilarated. The experience had not only allowed her to reflect on their achievements, but had also strengthened the bond between her and her colleagues. They celebrated with a small lunch, discussing how the article would portray their journey. Aisha felt grateful to be part of such an inspiring group of individuals, all committed to making their workplace a better place. A few weeks later, the article was published, and the response was overwhelmingly positive. Employees were excited to see their stories shared, and many felt proud to work for a company that valued diversity and inclusion. Aisha's heart swelled with joy as she read the comments and feedback from colleagues. They were inspired to keep pushing for change and to continue building a supportive environment. The exposure from the article brought new opportunities for Aisha and her team. Other companies reached out to learn more about their initiatives, and some even invited Aisha to speak at conferences and events. She was thrilled to share their story and inspire other organizations to embrace diversity and inclusion. As Aisha prepared for her first speaking engagement, she felt a mix of nerves and excitement. She wanted to communicate the essence of what they had created at their workplace, the sense of community, belonging, and support. She practiced her speech several times, focusing on how to engage her audience and share the lessons learned from their journey. On the day of the event, Aisha stood backstage, waiting for her turn to speak. She could hear the chatter of the audience, and her heart raced. When she was introduced, she took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. The bright lights illuminated the crowd, and she felt a wave of energy wash over her. "Thank you for having me here today," Aisha began, her voice steady. "I want to share a story about how a group of dedicated individuals came together to create a workplace where everyone feels valued and included." She talked about the challenges they faced, the workshops they organized, and the friendships that blossomed as a result. Aisha shared specific examples of how their initiatives had positively impacted individuals and the overall company culture. The audience listened intently, nodding along as she spoke. Aisha felt connected to them, realizing that many have faced similar challenges in their workplaces. As she continued, she encouraged everyone to take small steps towards fostering inclusivity and support. As Aisha continued her journey of fostering inclusivity in the workplace, she felt more energized than ever. The response to her recent speaking engagement and the article highlighting their efforts had created a wave of excitement throughout the company. Colleagues were inspired and eager to take part in the initiatives that had transformed their work culture. It was a wonderful feeling to see everyone come together, ready to support one another and build upon the foundation they had created. With the growing interest, Aisha knew it was time to introduce new ideas and activities that would further enhance their community spirit. She gathered a small team of enthusiastic colleagues who had been actively involved in their programs. Together, they brainstormed new initiatives that could provide even more opportunities for connection and growth. Aisha emphasized the importance of listening to their colleagues to ensure that the activities resonated with everyone. One idea that emerged during their discussions was to host a series of lunch and learn sessions. These would be informal gatherings where employees could share their skills and knowledge on various topics during lunch breaks. The aim was to create an environment of continuous learning while allowing colleagues to get to know each other better. Aisha loved this concept and quickly set the wheels in motion. Over the next few weeks, Aisha and her team worked to schedule these sessions. They reached out to employees, inviting them to volunteer to lead discussions on topics they were passionate about, from personal finance to mental health to creative hobbies. Aisha was thrilled to see so many people eager to participate and share their knowledge. The first lunch and learn session took place in the office break room, which had been transformed into a cozy and inviting space. Aisha had arranged chairs in a circle, and delicious food was set out for everyone to enjoy. As colleagues gathered, there was an air of excitement. Aisha welcomed everyone and introduced the first speaker, a colleague who had volunteered to share her experience with mindfulness and stress management. As the session began, Aisha noticed how engaged everyone was. The speaker shared personal stories and practical tips, encouraging participants to practice mindfulness techniques. Aisha could see the interest in her colleagues' eyes as they asked questions and shared their own experiences. The atmosphere was relaxed and open, and Aisha felt proud to see everyone connecting and learning together. After the session, many attendees expressed how much they enjoyed the experience. They appreciated the opportunity to learn something new in a casual setting and connect with their colleagues. Aisha was overjoyed by the feedback and realized that they had created something special. She felt a renewed sense of purpose as she saw the positive impact of these gatherings. The lunch and learn sessions became a regular occurrence, with new topics and speakers each week. Aisha encouraged everyone to take turns leading the discussions, fostering a sense of ownership and excitement among her colleagues. These sessions also provided a platform for individuals to showcase their talents, whether it was cooking, art, or public speaking. The diversity of topics offered something for everyone, and Aisha was thrilled to witness the enthusiasm growing within the team. One day, during a lunch and learn focused on personal development, Aisha noticed that a few new employees had joined the group. They seemed a bit shy at first, but gradually warmed up as the session progressed. Aisha made it a point to include them in the conversation, asking for their thoughts and experiences. By the end of the session, they were smiling and engaging with others, which made Aisha feel proud. She loved seeing how these initiatives brought people together, regardless of their backgrounds or how long they had been with the company. Encouraged by the success of the lunch and learn sessions, Aisha decided to take things a step further. She wanted to create a mentorship program where employees could connect with one another for guidance and support. Aisha believed that mentorship could play a significant role in personal and professional growth, especially for those who were just starting their careers. She reached out to various departments to gather volunteers willing to be mentors. Aisha created a simple survey for employees to express their interests and what they were looking for in a mentor. The response was overwhelming, with many seasoned professionals eager to share their knowledge and help others navigate their careers. Aisha felt a wave of gratitude as she realized how supportive her colleagues were.